Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, please subscribe, like and share my videos. In today's tutorial, I'll be sharing with you how to make this trendy boxy top with collar. So if you're interested in this video, just keep on watching and let's get started. For this tutorial, I'll be making use of a duchess fabric and I'll be using 1.5 yard of it. As you can see in the video, I folded the glossy part of the fabric, which is supposed to be the front face of the fabric, as the back face, because I want the orange to be toned down. The first thing I'll go ahead to do is to mark my starting point just like this. For the neck measurement, I'll be going inward with 2.5 inch for the neck width, and for the neck depth, I'll come down by 2 inches, and then I'll just go ahead to give it a slight curve. Next thing I'll be doing is to mark my shoulder measurement, which is 7 inches, 14 divided by 2. From that 7 inches, you'll measure how long you want your sleeve length to be. I want mine to be 15 inches, so I'll just go ahead to mark it, plus 1 inch seam allowance. And then from the starting point, you go ahead to mark how wide you want your sleeve opening to be. I want mine to be 8 inches, plus 1 inch seam allowance, then plus 1 inch for the shoulder slant, which we'll be doing later on. So I measured 23 inches from the folded area. I'll just go ahead to mark the same thing here, and then I'll connect the lines just like this. The next thing I'll be doing is to mark the length of my top. I want the length of my top to be 20 inches plus 2 inch M allowance, which is 22 inches. But now I'll just go ahead to mark 22 inches all the way around and then connect the lines together. You can decide to make the top length of your top 18 inches or 16 inches, depending on how cropped you want your top to be. Now from the starting point, I'll come down with my bust point measurement. My shoulder to bust point is 10 inches. I'll just go ahead to mark it and then connect the lines just like this. On this line, I'll be marking my bust circumference. My bust circumference is 34 divided by 4, which is 8.5 inches. From that 8.5 inches, I'll be adding 8 inches to it to make it 16.5. I'll just go ahead to mark 16.5 also at the down area and then connect the lines just like this. After connecting the points together, take the curved part of your ruler and give this place a smooth curve. Then you come down from the starting point with 1 inch for the shoulder slant, and then you connect it all the way to the neck area. After doing this, you go up by 0.5 inch for the seam allowance, and then you connect it also. After doing this, just go ahead now to cut all the measurements that you've marked out. Please guys, don't forget, if you are enjoying this tutorial, give me a thumbs up, share my videos and subscribe if you haven't. So now after cutting, to cut the back piece, we'll fold our fabric into 2 and then we'll place the front piece on it just like this. Remember that the front length is 20 inches. We'll just go ahead to mark 20 inches, and from that area we'll come down by 7 inch for the back length, then plus 1 inch seam allowance, which is 8 inches. So we'll go ahead now to mark 8 inches all through, and then we'll connect the lines. From this place, we'll just go ahead now to give it a smooth curve. Now this curve wasn't that deep, so I just went ahead to curve it more like this. Now for the back neck, I'll come down by 1 inch and then I'll just connect the lines like this. After doing so, just go ahead now to cut it out. Now for the neck opening at the back, we'll come down by 6 inches and then we'll cut it out. Make sure you follow exactly what I'm doing in the video to get a desired outcome. After cutting, your back piece should be looking like this. Now to cut the facing, fold a piece of fabric into 2, place your back piece on top of it and then cut out the neck just like you see me doing. Then just go ahead now to give it a slight curve. To sew the facing, place the facing on the back piece and then sew the lines together. Note, do not sew the neck. As you can see, I did not sew the neck because we'll be adding a collar to it. So now to join the shoulders, just place the front piece on the back piece and join the shoulders together. Now the next step we'll be doing is to fold the hem of the sleeve. You can decide to sew yours, you can decide to hem yours. I decided to hem mine, I did not sew it. And this is the outcome, this is how it looks like after hemming. The next thing we'll be doing is to fold the length of the front piece into half and then fold it again by 1.5 inches. Remember it is 2 inches we left as hem allowance while we're cutting it. Now for the back piece, you fold it into half and then you fold it into ½ inch again using hemming gum to gum it. Guys, can you see how beautiful it came out? Can you see how nice it's looking? Look at it now. Can you see? Look at the back. I did not sew it. I used hemming gum to gum it all through. So the next thing we'll be doing is just measure how wide you want the opening of your sleeve to be. I want mine to be 8 inches. So I'll just go ahead now to sew it from 8 inches all the way down with ½ inch. Afterwards, this is how your top should be looking like. The next thing we'll be doing is to cut our collar. Now to measure the neck of the top, we'll just fold our top like this, making sure that the shoulder points meet each other and that they are both equal. Now we'll go ahead now to measure the front neck. The front neck I have here is 4 inches. The back neck I measured 3 1/4 inch. To cut the collar of the top, we'll be making use of this pattern paper. Now we'll be measuring the pattern paper to get the midpoint because it's from this area that we'll be taking our measurements from. Next thing we'll do is to rule our starting point. I'll name this area my front neck and I'll name this area my back neck. Now remember that we measured 4 inches for the front neck. We'll just go ahead now to mark it from the midpoint, and for the back neck we'll measure 3 1/4 inch and then rule it upwards. Now we'll come up with ½ inch on the front neck and on the back neck we'll come up with 1/4 inch. Now just go ahead to connect the points together, giving it a curve. Now the next thing we'll be doing now is we'll be slanting upwards. Just follow exactly what I'm doing to have a desired outcome. Now we'll go up from the curved area with 1.5 inches. You can decide to make the length of your collar 2 inches. You can decide to make it 1 1/4 inch. It depends on how long you want your collar to be. So after marking 1.5 inches, the next thing we'll be doing is just to connect the points together, just like this. Now we'll go ahead to cut it out. So I'll just go ahead to replace my front neck and my back neck. So now to cut the fabric for the collar, we'll fold it into two like this and then fold it into two again because we'll be cutting both the main piece and the lining for the collar. Now the parts that we labeled front neck is what we're going to place on the folded area just like this. And now we'll just mark ½ inch on all sides for seam allowance. Now we'll go ahead to cut it out. After cutting it, this is how your collar should be looking like. Now before joining them together, we'll take one piece of the collar and iron interfacing on it. After ironing, we'll place the lining on it just like this, and then we'll sew accordingly following the direction of my finger. After sewing, this is how your collar should be looking like. Notice that I did not finish sewing the side of the collar because this is what we'll be using to close the opening of the neck. Now before we join into the top, we'll just close it and notch the midpoint. And on the top also, we'll locate the midpoint and notch it. Now we'll connect midpoint to midpoint and then we'll pin it together. Make sure that it's the wrong side of the collar, which is the lining, that you are pinning to the wrong side of the fabric. Just go ahead to pin it like this and then take it to your machine to stitch all through. After stitching, this is how it should look like. This is how it should look like. So we'll go ahead now to close this end just like this. Go ahead now to fold it inside and close it neatly just like this. So now we'll just go ahead to stitch it all through. So guys, after stitching, this is how your collar should be looking like. Can you see how beautiful and how neat it is? So the last thing we'll be doing is to attach the hook and eye on our collar. So that's it for today's tutorials, guys. If you enjoyed today's tutorial, please like, subscribe and share my videos. Also let me know in the comment section if you'll be trying out this tutorial. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.